welcome to CMO Weekly, the show where we sit down with the world's top marketing leaders to uncover the bold moves, tough lessons, and breakthrough ideas that shaped their journey. Every episode, we go beyond the headlines to explore what it really takes to build brands, lead teams, and stay ahead in a fast-changing industry. I'm Haley Clover, and this is CMO Weekly. This episode is brought to you by OpenFortune, the only marketing company putting your brand inside actual fortune cookies. Yep, those cookies you crack open after dinner, they're now prime real estate for your brand message. OpenFortune distributes millions of branded fortunes every month through thousands of restaurants nationwide, giving brands a moment of surprise and attention that no banner ad can match. Want to reach people when they're smiling, engaged, and ready to share something fun? Head to openfortune.com to learn more. Today's guest is navigating the sea of change at one of the biggest names in leisure travel. Amy Martin Ziegenfuss is the Chief Marketing Officer at Carnival Cruise Line, where she's steering marketing, branding, and customer experiences across 25 ships and counting worldwide. Since joining in 2023, Amy has led a post-pandemic marketing reinvention, targeting travelers by mindset, celebrating togetherness through experiences, and bringing Carnival's value-led campaigns to life through personalization and emotional storytelling. We have so much to talk about, so Amy, welcome aboard the podcast. I couldn't help myself but throwing in a boat pun.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. And believe me, there are a lot of nautical maritime puns, so feel free to sprinkle them in liberally.
We will. I know Carlo will as well. He can't help himself but throw in a dad joke every once in a while.
I actually live for it, Amy, so.
I totally get that. That's great. We welcome dad jokes as well. We're a very family-friendly brand. So
sweet.
We know that. And actually, Carlo recently got off of a cruise, so he has some fantastic experience that he can talk to. I, on the other hand, have never been on a cruise.
Okay.
So we have a lot to talk about, and hopefully by the end of this, I will be excited to hop aboard and go on my next adventure. But I'm really excited to chat, Amy, and learn a little bit more about what you're doing at Carnival right now. And I think it's a really great, timing of when you joined Carnival to be able to talk about post-pandemic marketing, because we actually haven't been speaking to many folks about that lately. And obviously that's still around and hasn't, changed. It's still something that you're dealing with. So I'm really excited to dive into that a little bit. But I think first I'd love a little bit of a background for our audience and how you found yourself at Carnival and kind of how you got yourself here throughout your career.
How I sailed in, if you will.
How you sailed in.
That's one. Can we get to 10 today? Can we do that? That's our goal.
Okay, that's two.
I think that's two.
So we got two so far. Yeah, that's right.
Haley already got one in, so that's great. Yeah, we'll do our best. So, absolutely happy to share. So, the short story is I've been in travel marketing for a long time. First with Choice Hotels and then with Hilton. It's a space I really love. I mean, it's pretty amazing to, market something that people love doing that is, kind of experiential in the best way possible. And people, make memories of a lifetime and connections and, experience new things. And so it's pretty amazing space. So when I was kind of looking for what my next challenge would be, coming off some pretty, incredible experiences at Hilton, the Carnival role was really exciting because it's still in travel. It is also an incredible storied brand with an amazing future. Actually, you mentioned 25 ships. We're now knocking on the door of 30. So already, and we've got more planned. So growing and in scale as well as in scope. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes, I'm sure. But also, a brand that is about the whole holiday. Whereas when I was with hotels, that's a part of the trip, an important part, but not the entire leisure experience, as you rightly called out. So I was really excited to get involved with a brand that had all of those things going for it and much more, and it's incredible culture as well. So I was really excited about the opportunity to really help the brand think about what's next in the journey. So that's what brought me here. If you look at the financials, in fact, we're now actually the whole industry, thankfully, the whole cruise industry is now above performance over 2019. 2019 was the best year on record going in the industry's history. And then, of course, COVID, as you rightly said, and that obviously, pulled the rug out from under things. And obviously, the whole industry had to struggle to survive. But it did, luckily. And now, starting in 2024, including where we are now this year, we're comping over 2019 in terms of the financial results. So the industry is really strong. Carnival Corp and Carnival Cruise Line are doing really, really well performance-wise. I think it's more about then, where do you go from here, right? Not to rest on your laurels, to think about what's next as consumer preferences and needs continue to evolve. How do we evolve, right, as a brand to stay core to our own DNA, but also relevant to where people are navigating to?
I know that Carnival has long served multi-generational travelers.
Yes.
And you talked a little bit about how you continue to move forward and keep new folks coming in, but also continuing to excite those folks that have been with you for a while. How do you do that? How do you balance making sure
Yeah.
that those folks continue to return on your ships, and then also you're finding the next generation of cruisers?
Yes, it's a great question. We definitely are a cruise line for kind of what I would say is middle America, like for kind of everyone, right? I mean, if you think about what middle America looks like, it is everybody. It's every walk of life, and that's a wonderful thing. And it doesn't, therefore, it doesn't kind of specifically stay within one demographic, as you rightly said, generational. We're for families, we're for adults, we're for girls' getaways, we're for reunions, and everything in between. So that, therefore, what we do is we think about the mindset of both our current customer and our customer of the future. And what we've learned through research and data is that there's a really interesting overlap in what those people, who they are, and also what they want. The people who find a Carnival cruise most appealing are people who are really interested in participatory fun. They're they're the people who go to tailgates and, food festivals and concerts, and they're having backyard barbecues and all their friends are coming around. It's those kinds of people who are looking for that kind of moment. They sometimes want relaxation within that, right? It's not like they're party all the time, but they're not looking to go on a cruise where they stay in their group, or a vacation where they stay in their group and they don't talk to other people and they don't interact with the crew. And, our people really want that very activated, energetic experience. They may be, doing karaoke and, one moment and lying on a sun lounger the next, or they may just be in that atmosphere. They may not be the ones with the microphone. So that's who we go after. And that is both, those are traits of both our current and our future customers. Obviously future customers are, we are looking at the next generation of who those people are. So they tend to be younger, and maybe they're just starting to travel on their own. So that's been interesting. And we have to, go find them where they are. So, we're looking for them in new places in some cases. And TikTok's a great platform for that, right? Yeah. And there are some other places where we're looking to make sure that we are, partnering with things like Bravo. And BravoCon, which are, again, a great place to get, you get a big mix of people, but you certainly get a younger audience as well. But again, an audience that really likes to have an activated experience. So those are some of the ways that we think about that.
Yeah, and so smart, especially Bravo. Gosh, the below deck fans in general, like wanting to have that type of travel and be on a boat and live that dream. That's right. That's really smart. You all have had some really cool partnerships. I mean, gosh, from Guy Fieri, who's just everywhere. Love him. Dr. Seuss, even, how do you bring those collaborations to life in terms of, it being immersive and experiential, like you mentioned, and, being something that's just really memorable?
Yes, it's true. I believe you really want to find brand partnerships that are really deep and authentic. So, in the case of Guy Fieri, he is, obviously we have a commercial arrangement, but he actually is a Carnival cruiser. He goes on our cruises. He loves sailing with us. He can speak to, it's the whole experience. He just brought his family, his youngest son graduated from high school, and he wanted to do a cruise for his on Carnival. Awesome. For his graduation cruise. So, Guy brought 30 of his closest friends and his family, and we made it a thing, and we filmed a special episode for Food Network. But it really was their their cruise, and they had the time of their lives, and they were incredible. They're incredible ambassadors. They love the experience, but they love the people. They are interacting. They love our crew. So it's really true. And he also is very involved in his products on our ships. So Guy's Burgers, Guy's Pig and Anchor, our barbecue outlet. He is involved in those recipes, in what we're offering there. For instance, we wanted to do a special burger to celebrate the opening of Celebration Key, our newest private destination, exclusive destination. And Guy got involved in exactly what was going to be on that burger, what was the sauce going to be, how we're going to make it kind of tropical and Bahamian in flavor. And, so it's really authentic. So we look for that. And I think Dr. Seuss is another example of that. We don't just pay to license the use of the character. We actually host a green eggs and ham breakfast with the characters on board, right? Which is such a favorite of the kids and families, right? It sells out every cruise. We do a couple of them on every cruise. So again, just really making sure that those kinds of things are thought through, and we're not just signing up to something for the name, but it's actually going to pull through to the experience, and that partner is going to be able to speak to it authentically as well.
Yeah, that's so fun. Can you talk a little bit about what your team's process even looks like when you're coming up with those new partnerships? Like in my head, I imagine we're all around a round table and somebody is like, I'm obsessed with burgers and I love this, this guy, and they're just throwing out ideas. What does that actually look like, to give us a little behind the scenes look?
Sometimes that's how it works. I love that. We start usually with insights, obviously, in terms of what our customers and future customers are looking for. So, we know burgers, for instance, are, really, really top of the list. And that has played out. Like the first stop most people make when they get on board is Guy's Burger. That's one of the first things. And they talk about that. That's the first thing they're going to do, is have that Guy's Burger. They film it, they put it on social. That's not why we did it. We did it because we knew they wanted burgers, but it sort of plays out that way. So we start with the insights. What do people love? What are the types of food or experiences or entertainment? Who do they love? Do they watch Food Network? Right? Is it something that they're do they read Dr. Seuss? So we start with that, and then once you have that really grounds you, and it makes the brainstorming really pointed and productive, right? Because then you can really get creative within kind of freedom within a framework when you're thinking about those things. So that's kind of how we do that. Like I'll give you a good example. When we were trying to launch Celebration Key, the destination I referenced, before it was built, we had to start marketing it because we were selling cruises 2 years down the line that we're going to go there, but we didn't have any pictures. It wasn't, it was a beach. So we had to figure out a way to bring it to life in a way that would, help people understand what we were asking them to buy, and be innovative about it. And so we knew that our people love football, they love basketball. So we thought, how do we integrate it with sports when we'll have their attention? And so we came up with this really, with our agency partners, we came up with this really innovative idea to take over an NFC game and the All-Star game for basketball. We took over the court and the field, and we flooded it virtually with water from the Bahamas, and created our island in virtual kind of mixed reality. And that's how we sort of introduced Celebration Key to people, so they could see it from the rendering, built from the rendering. But again, it was kind of grounded in this. We knew that they'd be watching. We knew they'd be interested. We knew that they would be in a holiday frame of mind because they're watching football or basketball. So it was that's kind of how those ideas kind of germinate, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. I'm loving all of the partnerships that folks are doing in that, like you said, that kind of virtual reality space with sports. It's very cool. And I personally, as a massive football fan, I think is really well done and works well. I think it's a great time to catch people's attention. Are there other data points, because you've mentioned a couple of times, how important the data is to finding your customer? Is there a certain metric that you all prioritize when you're, kind of validating the strategies that are working, or that you need to, continue to use when doing your marketing?
I mean, at the end of the day, everything comes down to, are we driving bookings, obviously, right? I mean, that's ultimately the business has to be successful in everything we do from a marketing or experience standpoint, sales, et cetera. But, we use other things to sort of evaluate, the impact of the marketing before it kind of gets to the booking, right? And, there isn't really one hero metric. I wish there were, frankly.
Sure,
um,
yeah.
but we do look at a series of things. We have some metrics that help us understand how our advertising is cutting through, if it's appealing, if it's motivating, if it's, driving intent to purchase. So we look at all those things. From a media perspective, we obviously are looking at, the returns on the particular channels, and that helps us understand how those channels are performing, and then obviously the impact to bookings down the line, and also brand health metrics, right? Are we helping people to remember the brand more and to perceive the brand in a better light, or whatever the things are that we're trying to achieve? So we're definitely looking at a mix of things, and then we sort of distill that down into whether we think things are working, and if we don't, we optimize or we move on. And a lot of it is testing and learning, and there are new media and new technologies coming out, as you know, all the time. So it's a lot of testing and learning, which is super fun and keeps it interesting.
Yeah, you mentioned TikTok being a really great market for finding those folks. What are the things that you all have been doing on TikTok that you're just, absolutely loving right now?
Well, TikTok, as you probably know this because you talk in these circles a lot, but TikTok is really a search engine for,
Yeah.
the next gens, right? You and I don't know if I'm going to put you in this bucket, but some people, me included, use Google. Other people use TikTok. So
That would be me still. I'm still using Google.
Okay, fair enough. I didn't want to speak
No,
for you.
you're good. But thank you.
I was giving you I'm trying to think of a pun here. I was giving you a lifesaver there.
Yeah, you're throwing me a life vest. Thank you.
So I think, so we know that. So we're trying to, create content with creators and also ourselves that will enable people to find out more about the cruising experience. Because if people haven't been on a cruise, you really don't know what to expect. And
Right.
that is a big challenge for us because there are a lot of barriers to cruising. For those who haven't cruised, you're not sure what to expect. You don't really know how to get the most out of it. Maybe you're worried it's going to be too crowded. That's a very common misconception. Or you may be worried about sickness, either seasickness or, germs, all of which we manage, and is much more sort of overblown in the media than actually happens in reality. But it's fair enough. If you haven't been there, you don't understand it. A lot of people also think they might be bored. Which is honestly, it's very hard to be bored on a cruise ship. I liken it to being in Vegas, and there's something for everyone, and you can be with everybody, or you can also be in a spa or in a really relaxing at a pool, or at a show or at an amazing restaurant. I mean, there's just so much to do. And then there are all the ports of call as well. So you're actually going a lot of places. So, when you compare it to an all-inclusive resort, it's actually really, really rich in experience. But again, if you don't know that, you don't know that. So TikTok is a great place, and other social channels are great places for us to help people understand that as people are searching for, vacations and travel inspiration.
Yeah, I love the idea of, kind of busting those myths of cruises, because
Exactly.
it is true. Like, to be completely transparent, a couple of the things that you said are thoughts in my mind. One being, just being a little bit worried about like being crunched into a cruise line, or that there's so many people there, which,
Right.
My husband and his family have cruised since they were young, and they're like, that's just not the case. But for whatever reason, that's my
Yeah.
perception. And so having a channel where you do have those digestible videos and
That's
things
right.
where people are busting those myths, yeah, that's amazing. What a great way to get new folks on board.
The fact
Yes.
that people think they can actually be bored on a cruise is wild to me. Like, I told everybody who asked me, I just came back from a cruise a month ago, and they're like, how was it? I'm like, it was so much fun and nonstop action, like on the verge of exhausting with my kids. It was their favorite vacation by far. There's just too much to do all the time. Like it's for everyone, like you said.
Most people say they want to come back because they didn't get a chance, like especially on the bigger ships where I know it sounds daunting, but it's a floating city, really, is how you have to think about it. So just like a city, you can go to the crowded parts, you can go to the quieter parts, right? Like there's something for everyone, but a lot of people feel like they don't get enough time to even explore the whole ship, which is really interesting.
For sure.
So, which we love, because that means you'll come back.
Yeah, definitely. Amy, quick thought. So you have obviously the cruise experience on Carnival is beyond physical. It's immersive. You talked about all the different partnerships that you have. And then you talk about how that brings people in, makes them feel loyal. It's obviously a form of marketing within the ship and creating loyalty. Love it. What are you guys doing? And by the way, I totally get that you have to meet where audiences are, and social is a great way to reach the masses and find the right folks based on their interests. Are you guys doing anything, not on the ships, right, prior to the ships, to kind of create that physical experience, make people feel something in that moment, and maybe even educate on you're never going to be bored, right? It's not as cramped as you might think, and all those things. What kind of experiential plays are you guys thinking about or have done recently prior to getting on the boat? Really just trying to get people's attention to say like, hey, look at us. This might be for you.
Yeah, we do some of that, to your point. We've had a couple of year partnership with South by Southwest where we bring the cruise experience to life there, bring some of the elements there, help people, exactly as you said, experience it before they get on board, get them excited about it, bring some of the food and drink. We partnered with, again, Guy Fieri does a big tailgate before the Super Bowl, which you may know. So last year it was in New Orleans. We partnered with him again. Another way we go deep with our partners to create a celebration key area of his food festival or his tailgate, and then and had his burger there that we talked about earlier, but also other food so people could really try it, understand like what the celebration key vibe is going to be like. It's tropical, it's super fun. This is obviously in the middle of winter, so it's a great moment to immerse people. We've brought one of our newest ship to Galveston, Texas. She's called the Jubilee, Carnival Jubilee. And so we partner with the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, again, to create some immersive experiences there and introduce the sort of Houston, Galveston market to Carnival and to the experience. So lots of those kinds of things we're trying to do. And then I know this is not experiential, it's broadcast, but the things like, working with Guy to create that special episode, right? It's different than our advertising. It's showing somebody actually having the experience and then and telling our story that way. So we do try to work with brand ambassadors. Jonathan Bennett is another important brand ambassador for us. We just sent him to Celebration Key so he could really help tell that story of what that new destination is like in a much more, different way than the brand can tell it, right? And so we try to work with influencers to do that too. And then BravoCon, I mentioned, that's coming up this fall. So we'll be, again, partnering with them on the ground. So we do look for those experiential moments to try to really help with the physical, as you said, the physical sort of experience as well.
Love it. And that's going to make sure that you keep all the info in the back of the sales. So nice job. I had to do it.
I love it.
That's 5? Are we on 5?
I think we're on 5.
We're on 5. Let's keep rolling, guys. We can do this.
That's so funny. Well, so I would love to know, and you can, if you don't want to talk about this, that's totally fine too. But I'd love to know if Carnival has jumped into the world of AI at all, and if there's, if you're using any of that in, your team specifically to help create this entire environment for your consumers.
Yeah, no, it's such an interesting, right? Literally evolving by the nanosecond, it feels like
it
space.
Really is.
My goodness. Absolutely. We're testing a lot of things. Obviously it's a very nascent world. There's a lot happening. There's a lot happening in, the media spaces that we are in close partnership with partners as they develop. I mean, there's not even a lot of, advertising opportunities yet, right? It's more AEO kind of search that is kind of emerging. So we're definitely looking at that. How can we make sure we are appearing and are optimized for those kinds of searches, right? So that it's not, we recognize search is changing. We already talked about TikTok. This is a different kind of change. So we're certainly doing that, but then we're also looking at ways that it can make us more efficient. For instance, we have an in-house creative studio. They're amazing. They have to do things like create hundreds of, pieces of copy blurbs for all of the different things that people might want to buy as they are getting closer to their cruise, right? They might want a shore excursion. They might want, a spa appointment, a restaurant reservation, whatever the things are. So, there are all these different pieces of copy as you get closer, as we put things on sale, as the dynamic pricing changes. People have been writing all of those pieces of copy. So we're trying an agentic approach to that to see, if we can get that to a place where we can, take some of the heavy lift off, and then that leaves our copywriters free to, more be the editors and then focus on the things that we don't think AI can do, or the things we haven't been able to get to, right? Because we just don't have the time, because we're bogged down with these, I would say kind of lower heavy lift, but like lower leverage tasks, right? So we can get our people onto the higher leverage tasks. So so we're doing some of that, and it's really interesting space. So much more to come, I'm sure. And as we navigate the hopefully interesting seas ahead.
As AI continues to
uncharted waters.
Uncharted waters. There we go.
I was trying to say it at the move at the speed of however many knots, but I don't know
what do you guys about 20, 25, 30 knots?
Yeah.
I don't know the
Absolutely.
appropriate number, so I lost it.
That's okay. I love it. We're trying. We're doing our best.
We're going to make it happen.
No, I think that's a awesome way to use it, because people are just so creative, and so being able to give them the space to do that, while, like you said, the tools we have so far can just create some more efficient practices, I think is incredible. So that's awesome. Where do you see the future of Carnival heading? I know you mentioned that you're, adding ships, and lots of things are happening. What are those exciting things that consumers can look forward to?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have two. So we have a line of ships called our Excel class. There are three of those. The latest I mentioned, Jubilee, is she's home ported in Galveston, Texas. We have two more of that class coming. The next one is called Carnival Tropical. Carnival Festival, and then Carnival Tropical. Sorry, got them mixed up. So Carnival Festival will be with us in 27, and then Tropical's hard on her heels. So we're excited about that. There will be some new dining concepts and entertainment concepts that will be introduced on those ships. So more to come. We don't have all that figured out yet. And we have some really great innovations for families on Festival as well. And she's a music themed ship as well. So kind of a music festival at sea. Exactly. So we're really excited about that. So there'll be some fun music themed entertainment, bars, restaurants, and then a really amazing, huge, massive family water park, kind of at the aft of the ship, at the back of the ship. So that's going to be really, really fun. So those are coming. And then we have a brand new class of ships called, we don't even have a name for it yet. The project name is ACE class. And there are 3 ships planned within that class of ships. And they'll come starting, I think, 29, 30, 31, something like that. And so more to come there. I mentioned we opened Celebration Key just last month.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's an incredible destination, the largest freshwater lagoon in the Caribbean. It is huge and amazing. What most of our people want from a holiday is beach and water. That's what they want. So we are giving it to them. We've got the largest freshwater lagoon. We have over a mile of beautiful white sand beach with those turquoise waters. So you can have all the water and beach fun that you want. There are amazing swim-up bars, kids splash pads, racing water slides, a private beach club, adults only. So all of the things you want. So that's really a game changer for us, because right now, if you go to a port, there may or may not be a beach. You may have to pay to go to the beach. So this is Carnival's exclusive space. So we're going to take you there, and you're going to hopefully have an amazing time. And the initial reviews are incredible. So people are loving it, which is great. And we have a bunch of other destinations that are already in our portfolio of destinations. We call it the Paradise Collection. And we are enhancing those. We're going to be adding features to those, beach clubs and pools and all kinds of things, so that, again, on more of our ports of call, people can have that experience they're really looking for. So we're really excited about that. And there'll be a phase 2 for Celebration Key too that will have a water park. So we're very excited about that. Yeah, super fun. So lots to look forward to in the future for us.
That's great. This entire conversation makes me want to go on vacation.
Yay! Yay! And a cruise. And a cruise is 30% cheaper than a land-based holiday. So
That's important.
if you're budgeting, that's just something to be aware of.
Is that inclusive of getting to the ports, like the transportation and airfare?
I mean, of course, that depends, I suppose, where you're coming from. That's a fair point. It's probably based on like if you're going to equal side by side, you're driving or you're flying to
Right.
a land-based or a cruise, but the cruise itself, because we're able to, provide everything all inclusive, and we are in international waters, so we obviously benefit from some of those things. So, so we're able to provide things at scale, and that translates to less cost to the guest.
Very cool.
That's awesome. Amy, I have some quick fire questions that I'd like to throw at you just about you and vacations and fun things like that to just learn a little bit more about you, if that's okay. Carlo, are you raising your hand?
He's going to answer for me.
I want to make sure our bet is still on and that one question is in there.
Yes, we can throw that question in. I think Amy will have fun with that question.
I have a feeling I could be wrong, but I think that you're going to win this one. So, Amy, depending on, we're not going to tell you which question.
Okay.
Depending on your answer, Haley's either going to win $100 or I'm $100.
Okay.
So it's fine. We don't care either way. We're just taking a running toll on this. So.
It goes back and forth, so luckily we're kind of breaking even.
I think I'm ahead by a little bit. I think like maybe 1 nautical mile.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
What number are we at?
That's 8. That's 8. I don't know if we can do it in time. We're going to try.
Got 2 more to get in. We'll try.
Okay. So yeah, Amy, these are just fun, lighthearted questions. Whatever comes to your mind, throw it out there. Do you have any non-negotiable travel rituals other than going on a Carnival cruise?
That's, of course, number 1.
Yeah.
Non-negotiable travel rituals. I really do love, I'm a foodie, so I have to have amazing food. And I like to try new food when I'm on vacation. So that's definitely up there. And, maybe a spa moment for sure.
Love that. I was just going to ask your go-to cruise activity. So would it be the spa?
My go-to cruise activity? No, it's the entertainment. I love the entertainment. It's amazing. I mean, you're literally there and you can see a show every night if you want to, and I do love that.
Are you a karaoke fan? Do you sing if you're on the boat?
I am a karaoke fan. I'm not sure they'd want me to. I don't think I've worked up the courage to do it. But
what's your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that. Maybe "Levitating" by Dua Lipa. I love Dua Lipa.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good choice. Do you have a favorite city in the world?
Yes, London. I lived there for 7 years and I adore it. Best city in the world.
I love that city as well.
Yeah.
If you had to sit down to dinner, let's say you get to go to dinner at one of your amazing restaurants on your ships with somebody dead or alive, who would you choose?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, it would be fun to go with Guy Fieri. Obviously, right? Or Emeril Lagasse is our chief culinary officer. It's pretty incredible to go with him. So I'm going to go with Emeril, actually. That would be amazing. And he could tell me all about the preparations and all the behind the scenes things, which would be fun.
Okay. I love that. That's a good answer. What is a brand that you admire outside of the cruise or hospitality world, that you love what they're doing with their marketing?
Well, there are many. I mean, I've always liked what Target does. I think they're really smart when it comes to marketing, right? And you know their marketing immediately. It evokes a feeling, even though it's really, it's a shop, right? Where you go to get like toothpaste. But somehow so I think that's a brand that's been really smart about their marketing. Trying to think what else I love. I think McDonald's has really done a great job of repositioning themselves for the next generation. I've admired a lot of that work that they've done and how they've done it. Those are a couple that just sprang to mind. Sorry.
Yeah, great answers. Have you ever been given bad advice along the way in your career that you remember?
I'm sure I have.
If not, have you ever been given really good advice that you always think about?
Yes. I think the best advice I've been given, and maybe conversely, it wasn't advice, but I've watched people do it and have seen that it doesn't work, is to show your vulnerability, to show as a leader that you don't know everything. I thought initially that I had to have all the answers. And I now understand that that is not, in fact, my role. My role is to surround myself with people who fill in the gaps that I have, and to lift them up, and also to show people that it's okay to not always know everything. And that's scary as a leader sometimes. But so that I've been given that advice. I've seen it modeled. I've also seen the opposite and seen how people really need to send up an SOS because that's 9.
Number 9,
because they're failing as a leader.
Questions until we get to 10.
Wow, that was such a good one. I didn't even catch it at first. It was so good.
I slipped it in. So they say, I'm going to do it. So they send up an SOS as a leader because they're going overboard.
Oh, she got it.
I did it.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's honestly, Amy, that's slow clap worthy. You know what I mean? Like that's well done. We're proud of you.
Wow. Yeah, that was fantastic. Okay.
I was trying as I was going.
Really impressive.
I love that answer. I think it's so true. I mean, I think it's just like absolutely insane for anyone to expect somebody to know everything. Like it's just not possible. So I love that answer.
And by the way, you can see right through it, everyone working with them, you're like, no, you don't. Like, why? Like, and then you just look like you're not authentic and not real. And what's the point? Like, then I think you lose trust, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So true.
Along that note, speaking of your team, if they had to describe your vibe via a cocktail, what cocktail would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. I'm going to go with a spritz because I'm very upbeat and positive. My wife is European and I've lived in London, so I'm kind of a little bit, I got a little European flair, I'm going to say. But I have a little bit of a kick.
I love that. Amazing. Is it okay to sleep with socks on?
Oh, I think that's up to you. I don't, but if it's working for you, then who am I to judge?
I guess.
That's the $100.
That's yours, Haley. Like
it's not a negative. I win.
That to you, like so. Amy, she used to say, "Do you sleep with socks on?"
Oh, right.
And I was winning 95% of the time.
And
then all of a sudden, without any did not consult me, I just heard her slip in, "Is it okay to sleep with socks on?" And then sometimes we'll get an answer like that. And now we're at like a 60-40. So it's okay. Let it slide. But I lost this.
Thank you, Amy. Okay, and last question, so I can give you your time back for the day. What's one thing that your past self, let's say 10 to 15 years ago, would be shocked to learn about your life today?
I think the number of cruises I've been on. I had cruised before I took this role, but obviously I cruise a lot now. So for work mostly.
You have to know the product. Yeah.
Correct. And we do a lot of shoots and integrations like with Guy and so yeah. So I think I just would be surprised.
I love that.
How many do you think it is, or do you have an exact number?
I think I'm up to about 10 already, and I've only been here 2 years, and I'm about to go on 2 in the next month. So I'm going to be at 12.
Gosh,
2 in the next month?
One for fun and one for work.
Very cool.
Where are the destinations for your fun cruise?
The fun cruise is the Norwegian fjords.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. And then the work cruise is the Caribbean, and we're going to Celebration Key. So I mean, both are amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh, how fun. Well, this has been so fun. Thank you for playing into our nautical puns. That was amazing. We reached 10. We did it.
I think we do that now on every episode just for fun. It's like part of you have to come up with 10 nautical puns.
That work with your company. Yeah, that's so funny. I know everyone's going to love to hear about all of the insights, and people need to go follow along with Carnival Cruise Lines to plan their next vacation. Where can they find everybody on social media? What are the tags for them?
Yeah, so at Carnival on, I think Facebook, Instagram, TikToks I'd have to look up, but I'm on them all, but I can't remember. Terrible.
It's a well-known brand. We can find.
You can find it. I think if you just
type in Carnival.
Yes, you'll find us. You'll find us. Look for the iconic red, white, and blue funnel, and you'll know it's us.
Amazing.
Yes. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on. And if you all enjoyed listening to this episode, please don't forget to subscribe so that you can hear all of the amazing insights from our CMOs that we have on weekly. And Amy, just thank you again. I'm excited that we got to talk to you.
Thank you both. It's been a pleasure. I really appreciate you having me on. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Of course.